So to those countries that can't get fuel, I have a suggestion. Number one, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And number two, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before. Should have done it with us, as we asked. Go to the strait and just take it, protect it, use it for yourselves. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done, so it should be easy. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are ongoing, and the country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat.
War escalating across the Middle East amid new attacks in Kuwait, Iraq, and Israel. Iran has rejected the latest U.S. peace plan, according to Iranian state television.
Have these talks hit a dead end?
They have not. Talks continue. They are productive.
Late today, Iran's foreign minister claimed there were no official talks.
If I were you guys, I would take Caroline Leavitt's use of the word productive with a grain of salt. This is the same woman that thought getting lip filler right before a Vanity Fair photo shoot while pregnant is productive. It's not. But since I'm in a generous mood today, Caroline, I'm going to give you some advice. I would refrain from using such positive terminology during such a tumultuous time. Because it was only just a couple of hours after you claimed things were productive, Iran's Minister of Foreign Affairs basically said, you guys never talk. Exchanging messages with countries that they have friendly relations with is not a negotiation. And I don't see how Iran turning down Donald Trump's 15-point plan is productive. Which, by the way, I am dying to know what those 15 points were. He won't tell us, of course. But I could only assume renaming the Persian Gulf to Tremendous Body of Water might be on there. And I know what some MAGA is thinking. Iran contradicting what Caroline Leavitt is saying doesn't sound like a big deal, right? They could be lying. Well, Donald Trump just put out this Truth Social post this morning. You tell me how productive this sounds. The Iranian negotiators are very different and strange. They are begging us to make a deal, which they should be doing since they have been militarily obliterated with zero chance of a comeback. And yet they publicly state that they are only looking at our proposal. Wrong. They better get serious soon before it is too late, because once that happens, there is no turning back and it won't be pretty. President DJT. I'm sorry, I was trying to concentrate during reading all of that, but all I could think about was this.
I'm sorry. Not using it right, Joe.
Oh, if only this was just a TV show. I do want to point something out, though, how different the tone in Donald Trump's most recent post is in comparison to the rest of the week, where everything seemed hunky-dory, that Iran even gave him a present. And then I remembered, today is Thursday, which means tomorrow is Friday, and that's when the market closes. What a coincidence after all of your friends made over $500 million this week, based off your cheery attitude. Anyways, bye.
Donald Trump just spoke to the nation about the war in Iran. He didn't say anything. This is bad. The one big thing Trump said was, World War II, we were there for 5 years. Vietnam, we were there for 19 years. Why are people complaining? Folks, that means he's trying to explain that this is going on for a hell of a lot longer. If we were leaving, he'd say we're out. He wouldn't be justifying, this hasn't been long because we've got 19 years to go before we're like Vietnam. He's trying to argue that we're staying longer. He said nothing. He said, I so predicted this. I swear to God, before the show, I was talking to one of my friends and he said, what's going to happen? I said, you know what? Typically, he just bullshits. He pretends like he's going to do a big speech to the nation, and then he doesn't. He just gets up there and spouts off. He decided, Barack Hussein Obama. He didn't say anything. The one thing he did say, we've got much better leaders in place now in Iran. No, we don't. All the experts said he's nuts. Oh, we got the new president's great. The new president is the old president. He's the guy that's been there for years. The new people, they're actually worse than the old people. We killed the old people, and the new people, yeah, anyway. He's preparing us for a long war, guys. This is very bad.
3,500 soldiers so far have touched base in the Middle East, ready to invade Iran if they do not negotiate or do certain things. And guess what? Iranians don't seem to be moved. Apparently, they're changing strategy. They are right now changing strategy on attacking the ground troops in Iran. Whoever attacks the Strait of Hormuz and Kaga Island, they want to clear them up. So it's going to be bloody. I don't know how bloody it's going to be, but let's wait and see. Let's wait and see about this war. But also don't forget the eyes in the sky, the plane that has been acting as the radar aircraft, warning the US bases in Saudi Arabia and in the Middle East about incoming missiles from Iran. The plane has been hammered into two. It was really smashed. So America is blind in that part. So let's watch this space. But let's check what these guys are saying.
Well, I got a piece of breaking news for y'all that I heard direct today from Washington, D.C. Trumpy the Pig is threatening to drop the biggest bomb on Iran that history has ever seen. Now, what I've heard is the bomb is being built right now as we speak, and it's being loaded with DVDs of Melania's documentary. The biggest bomb in history. I hope Iran is prepared. Godspeed.
This is a true investment in your children and your grandchildren's future. Tonight, every American can look forward to a day when we are finally free from the wickedness of Iranian aggression and the specter of nuclear blackmail. Because of the actions we have taken, we are on the cusp of ending Iran's sinister threat to America.
President Trump spent 19 minutes in primetime tonight talking to the American people about why he chose to start this war with Iran, why it should matter to you, and while he did address the pain you're feeling at the pump, he said he made sure the American economy was ready to take this hit. So let's talk about three important things President Trump did not say tonight, because I think that's very important. Number one, he did not say that this war is going to be over tomorrow. And in fact, he suggested there may be an escalation.
We will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong.
Just so we're clear on the timeline, on February 28th, when Trump launched Operation Epic Fury, he said the timeline to finish it was going to be between 4 to 6 weeks. Since then, he has said we are ahead of schedule. Well, we are currently in week 5 of this war, and now Trump is saying maybe we'll be in this thing for 2 to 3 more weeks. Number two, Trump did not say there was any kind of breakthrough on a deal with Iran to end this war, even though just this morning he said Iran's president had asked him for a ceasefire. In fact, tonight, Trump reiterated what I reported yesterday, which is that he seems prepared to walk away from this war, whether the Strait of Hormuz is open or not.
The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait and won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. So to those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. Number one, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And number two, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before. Should have done it with us, as we asked. Go to the Strait and just take it. When this conflict is over, the Strait will open up naturally. It'll just open up naturally.
Not sure how it's going to just open on its own. I also should point out that the president said nothing tonight about the Monday deadline that he set for Iran to reopen the Strait. Remember, he's delayed it a couple of times, and he said he was going to obliterate Iran if they didn't open it. Well, quick fact check here. As I told you in this video last night, it is true the United States does not get much oil from the Strait of Hormuz. You need to understand that oil is a global commodity. That means the closure of that strait impacts your gas prices even here in the United States. And if it stays closed, your gas prices will probably stay high. Think logically. If Trump is right and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz doesn't impact America because we have so much oil, then why are our gas prices over $4 a gallon? And the number 3 thing Trump did not say tonight is he did not announce any kind of new way to try and get those gas prices down, because he said, you got a big tax refund?
Many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gasoline prices here at home. The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat. You all know that. We built the strongest economy in history, but we had to take that little journey to Iran to get rid of this horrible threat. With our historic tax cuts, where people are just now talking about receiving larger refunds than they ever thought possible, they are getting so much more money than they thought. That's from the great big beautiful bill. Our economy is strong and improving by the day.
And a bonus 4th thing Trump did not say tonight. He did not say that he was going to be putting American boots on the ground in Iran. But he did talk a lot about how powerful and exceptional the United States military is. He said the best way to honor the lives of the 13 service members who died in this war in Iran is to finish the job. But by Trump's own admission and his own goals, that job cannot be finished until we know what's going on with Iran's nuclear program. That's the one thing all presidents, including Trump, have said. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. While Trump again tonight talked about how he obliterated Iran's nuclear program last summer, he seemed to also confirm tonight that the remnants of that nuclear program, what he calls the nuclear dust, may just stay in Iran. Like, we just leave it there and watch it?
The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take months to get near the nuclear dust, and we have it under intense satellite surveillance and control. If we see them make a move, even a move for it, we'll hit them with missiles very hard again. We have all the cards, they have none.
If you couldn't bear to watch Trump's speech tonight, it's going to be another 2 to 3 weeks in the war. He had a lot of his old favorites. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. Winning, we were a dead country, blaming Barack Hussein Obama. He claimed that we accomplished regime change, which we absolutely didn't. There's now just a more hardline, 30-year younger version with the same name. Tried to convince the American people that the Middle East and Israel wouldn't exist if Iran had been allowed to get a nuclear weapon and he hadn't stepped in. He said that the United States doesn't need any oil from the Strait of Hormuz because they're producing so much themselves. So countries who need oil can just buy it from the United States or get some courage and just go take the Strait of Hormuz, says the guy with the biggest navy in the world who won't go do it. He's justified all of this by saying that the Iranian regime had killed 45,000 people. The highest estimates, which were highly contested, was 35,000. And then he started to sound even more deranged than usual. He started bragging that the U.S. has destroyed everything, that they have no defenses, but that the U.S. is going to keep bombing them for the next 2 to 3 weeks to bomb them into the Stone Ages, even though he claims that the U.S. has already won the war. And this whole war is just an investment in American children's futures.
President Trump says once the U.S. leaves, it will automatically open, telling the New York Post, "My attitude is I've obliterated the country. They have no strength left, and let the countries that are using the strait, let them go and open it. In other words, we've done our part, now do yours." Sounds familiar, like his proposition to the UK and others this morning.
That's the fucking news. So Donald Trump just gave an announcement by addressing the nation live and gave us an update regarding Iran. And before people can give their opinions or their media bias to it, I'm just going to give you all of the facts here. You heard it here first. Okay. So Trump starts his speech talking about Artemis and talking about the spaceship, and then he claims that Iran has no air force or navy. He then mentions that Iran is responsible for October 7th, and he goes, poor Israel. Then he blames Obama's nuclear deal. And then he says there are clear objectives. The clear objectives are disabling the regime. I assume he meant Iranian regime. Then he says that the operation is nearing completion. He honors then the troops that the United States has lost and says all the families are saying we must complete the mission. Now, real quick, Purple Populist Show. It is my long-form political commentary. It's how I keep that one piece light on, the call to pirates. Raise up, raise your voice, support the show, support independent creators. It's $5 a month, and fuck, it is funny. Okay, additionally, Trump then goes on to Thank the Gulf nations as well as Israel. He then blames Biden, and then he talks about the stock market. Then he tells other countries to take the Strait of Hormuz. He then talks about the OBBA, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. He then says he's going to hit Iran so hard in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Real quick, if you want to access the show, as I said, links in my bio, or comment the word LINK, and I'm going to send you a DM. It's $5 a month, LINK. He then says he's going to bring Iran back to the Stone Ages. He then threatened their electric plants again on live TV. He mentions other wars such as World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War. And then at the end, before he concludes, he says Iran is no longer a threat because they've been completely and totally eviscerated, as he would say. That is the objective news. I'm not going to give my opinion on it. Obviously, I am very opinionated on it, and that'll come out sometime tomorrow. Tonight, that is what he said, and that was the chronological order. Sending you my love. Make sure to check out the Purple Populist Show.
All right, Donald Trump just spoke for about 20 minutes. Here are the things that surprised me most. First, he said that we took Venezuela and we are producing oil and gas with them. That is quite simply not true. Venezuela is being run by Maduro's number 2, and while they are more friendly to Donald Trump, we are not producing oil or gas with them. We stole some oil that was about $10 million worth of oil, and it's cost us $27 million to keep it in the sea because we illegally seized it. He said the United States is energy independent, completely energy independent. We don't need any oil or any gas from the Middle East. In fact, we're only in the Middle East to help other people.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
He said in 2015, when he first started running for president, his number one objective was to ensure that Iran never had nukes. He never talked about that. He said he had to rip up Barack Hussein Obama's deal with the Iranians, and that Obama had pulled cash, green money out of all of the banks, all of their money from DC and New York, and flew it on airplanes to Iran to try and buy favor with the Iranian regime. That is also not true. The negotiations said Iran would not pursue a nuclear weapon, and in exchange, the United States would unfreeze Iranian money that had been kept in American banks. It was Iran's money. Trump said that if he didn't bomb Iran, Israel would not be here right now. He said the family members of every single one of the 13 service members that have died in Trump's war told him, "Sir, finish the job." We have heard from those people's parents, and they have said, no, we did not say that to him.
The President of the United States is fucking lying!
He said gas prices are high right now, but it's totally worth it because if we didn't do what we did, then you wouldn't be sitting here right now because there would have been a nuclear war. He said the stock market is really good and we have the hottest country. He told European nations that use the Strait of Hormuz to get their oil through that they need to cherish the Strait of Hormuz. They need to get their own oil or they need to buy from the United States, but they should just go to the Strait of Hormuz and seize the oil. He said the Strait of Hormuz will open naturally. Americans are getting bigger refunds on their taxes than they ever thought were possible. All of our objectives in Iran will be accomplished in the next 2 to 3 weeks, but we will be bombing the shit out of Iran for the next 2 to 3 weeks, bringing them, quote, to the Stone Age. But also negotiations are ongoing. Also, all the Iranian regime leaders are dead. Also, there are new leaders who are better, but he didn't say who they were. He said America holds all the cards, Iran has none. Then he talked about how long each war America has been involved in since World War I lasted and bragged that his war has only taken 32 days and he has accomplished all of his objectives and we are winning. I can't believe he interrupted Survivor to lie and slur and slow talk.
Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable. Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously. We have not hit their oil, even though that's the easiest target of all. because it would not give them even a small chance of survival or rebuilding. But we could hit it, and it would be gone, and there's not a thing they could do about it. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar is 100% annihilated. We are unstoppable as a military force. The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take...
All right, grab a snack because I just watched Donald Trump's presidential address, so you didn't have to. So Trump just addressed the nation, right? And what he's claiming about Iran, well, it's really honestly shocking. He was giving a major address to the country tonight, and he's declaring what sounds like a total near victory over Iran. He opened up his speech by congratulating NASA. As you guys know, they're on their mission to the moon tonight. But then he quickly shifted into one of the most aggressive war updates. Trump says under Operation Epic Fury, Iran's navy is totally destroyed. The Air Force is in ruins, and key leadership has been taken out. He says the U.S. has spent the last month systematically dismantling Iran's ability to threaten America, especially their nuclear program. And get this, he says the mission is already nearing completion. Trump then doubled down on why he even started this war. He says that he's been warning since 2015 that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. He said that's what he originally ran on. Also blamed past leadership on what he calls failed deals, calling out directly Barack Obama, who said he made things worse. He then warned if Iran does not agree to a deal soon, the United States is prepared to go even further, including targeting critical infrastructure and escalating strikes. And at the same time, he was praising the U.S. troops, literally bringing up that mission in Venezuela, saying how it, in a matter of minutes, he said, saying that the military acted with unmatched speed and power, which made America respected all over the world again. He says because of that and changing leadership in Venezuela, now we are respected again. He also continued to say that America is now the hottest country in the entire world, saying that we have the most oil, the most gas in the entire world. We're the biggest producers, but yet gas is still through the roof. Okay, but here's where things really get complicated, because Trump then went on to say Iran is no longer a threat, but then goes on to threaten them again that if they don't make a deal, bye-bye. So bottom line, he ended it with saying that the war he is predicting will, in a matter of a few weeks, will be over. He's saying he's going to hit Iran very, very hard in the next few weeks, and it's giving them a timeline. So that's really all to it. As always, follow along for more and share the story. I will keep you up to date with all the news that you need to know about.
I just finished watching Trump's address to the nation, and he really didn't give us anything new. I thought we were going to be told just how much longer we would be in this war, but no, he really didn't give us that either. He has been repetitive in the information he's providing, like Iran's navy is gone, their air force is ruined, the IRGC has been decimated, their rocket launchers are gone. He stated that we've taken out their ballistic missiles. Yeah, he's told us that before. He said our objective was to systematically eliminate their navy, which we've done, so he says. He did say that our economy is the strongest it's ever been with no inflation. Like, where is he living? Because this economy sucks. Food prices are high, gas prices are high. And then he went on to say that because we have so much oil, we don't need the oil from the Straits. But if that's the case, then why is our fuel cost so high? Why did our gas prices go up? Like, make it make sense, because right now it doesn't. Trump also said that the U.S. produces more oil than Saudi Arabia and Russia. And again, I asked the question, if this is really true, why is our gas prices so high? He ended the address stating that the Straits of Hormuz will open naturally. No, it won't. And that we're going to continue in this war until all of our objectives are met. He said that should be at least about another 2 to 3 weeks. If Iran doesn't agree to a deal, then we will hit their electric degeneration plants really, really hard. That's what he said. Oh, well, go ahead and save this, share it with your besties so they know what's going on, and follow me for more real-time updates.
Hey, what's up, America? Donald Trump addresses the nation and gives updates on what's happening with Iran. Donald Trump says over the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to be smashing Iran extremely hard. Then Donald Trump says after all of our goals are met, he's telling our allies to just Take the Straits of Hormuz. Don't listen or wait for Iran. Donald Trump is basically telling our NATO allies that they're going it alone. Fuck them. He talked briefly about the NATO allies not helping us against Iran, and then talked about how the Iranian Navy, Air Force, and military was basically in shambles, and that the government is just murdering protesters and civilians. And so Donald Trump said it wasn't necessarily about regime change, but then boldly said all the leaders are dead, reiterating that fact multiple times. So the Iranian government has supposedly rejected a ceasefire offered by Donald Trump. So basically Donald Trump came out with fury and said, we're going to fuck up your entire nation. Said we're actually going to send them back to the Stone Age. Actually said that. So it looks like any semblance of peace is actually totally fucked at this point. And after Donald Trump's speech, oil actually increased by $4 a barrel. It was around 98 and it went to $103.84 as of now. And climbing, by the way, because like I said, Donald Trump says we're going to be fucking up Iran for the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that's the update with Iran. What do you think in the comments?
Oil markets did not like Donald Trump's address about Iran tonight. Oil prices jumped over $5 to $6 a barrel, 5 to 6% shortly after Donald Trump gave his speech on the Iran war. They didn't like, I'm sure, him talking about bombing more parts of Iran, about oil being closed longer, about the Strait of Hormuz staying closed, and about Donald Trump potentially bombing electric plants. The oil markets, the analysts that buy and sell oil, view this as a higher risk. They push the prices up as a result. Likewise, we're all paying significantly higher prices at the pump. I'll do another story tomorrow on the latest on the oil prices, gas prices at the pump we're seeing here in South Florida. But the oil analysts did not like it. Likewise, Donald Trump, in his speech tonight, tried to blame Iran for the high prices we're paying at the pump. Donald, that's on you. You decided to attack Iran. You're the one who caused the prices to go up. And likewise, he told all the Europeans, we all go take the Straits of Hormuz. Donald. And he said the U.S. needs no oil from there. Donald, we do import 1/3 of our oil. I hate to be the one to tell you that. And some of it does come from Saudi Arabia and some of it does come from Iraq. You're wrong. We do get the lion's share from Canada and Mexico, but we do get some from them, so that's not correct. Love to hear from my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, and the Bernard Labs. Oil jumped up after Donald Trump's speech tonight. He did anything but make it go in the right direction.
He makes clear in those statements that he makes tonight that this is a war of his choosing. We didn't have to be there. We just went to help. Help who? Why? No one, everyone that voted for you thought they were getting a commitment that we would never do that again. Right. A war that we didn't have to be in. And the second, when you ask people to disbelieve their eyes about what they are paying for gas, I think his political problems are in the fact that he's telling you something that we can all see for ourselves. We all pay when we, stick our card in the ATM at the gas station. We know what it costs. He's telling you it's not true. And I think his political problem, the reason the polls, I think here in what it feels like year 77, it's probably just year 9 of the Trump story. The reason other issues are cratering along with it is because if he's telling you not to believe the thing that you can see every time you drive by the gas station, the price for gas, what else is he lying about? Yeah. And I think it's why, I was as exasperated as anyone when the Washington Post lie checker got to 35,000 and no one cared. And I was one of the people pounding my fists with why don't the Pinocchios work? Well, I think there's a cumulative impact of the lies about the Epstein files and now the lies about what you are experiencing at the gas pump, which he again took this speech, which he could have simply stayed in the lane of his solemn duty of paying tribute to the brilliant men and women of the military, and they are brilliant. But to try to gaslight people, and no pun intended, about what they're paying for gas was for Trump, who has sort of outfoxed people politically for 9 years now, a massive political failure.
President Trump just gave an update on the war in Iran in a primetime address to the nation. I've got my notes, so let's do a quick recap of his speech in under 3 minutes. First and foremost, we saw the president use this speech as an opportunity to justify to the American people why this war is going on and sell what he views as successes so far of the military option to frame the reasoning of why it must continue. He did say that it is nearing completion without giving a specific timeline and didn't really outline a path for how this conflict will end. He said this is something that is absolutely necessary for American safety, but also acknowledged that we don't need Iran's oil and said that this is part of a broader strategy to help regional allies. I thought it was really notable that he mentioned how when he was campaigning for president in 2024, he vowed to make sure that Iran does not have any nuclear weapons. He was saying that he wants to decimate Iran, make them go back to the Stone Ages, but he did not mention the fact that he also campaigned on having the U.S. end its involvement in so-called endless wars. The president also talked about the American casualties and injuries so far. There have been more than 300 American service members who have been injured during this operation, and 13 soldiers have died, including a Sacramento soldier, Robert Marzan. He was killed in the Kuwait attack. Of course, the president also highlighted what Americans are feeling here at home the most, which is gas prices, especially here in California. He claimed that the Strait of Hormuz will naturally open up once the war ends. He also seemed to signal that this conflict could end with or without regaining control of the Strait of Hormuz, which, of course, Iran has effectively been able to shutter that for weeks. But we know that the oil prices, of course, will remain spiked so long as Hormuz remains closed. One final point, the president seemed to signal that the U.S. is basically preparing to intensify its response to Iran. And this is something that came up in my interview with U.S. Senator Alex Padilla of California yesterday. He's a Democrat. He said that there was chatter about a supplemental request that the president will be making to Congress to ask for more money to fund this war. And Padilla told me that Republicans are looking at the reconciliation process to see where they can cut and are considering further making healthcare cuts to fund this military operation in Iran. So definitely that's something to look out for the next big fight in Washington when lawmakers return.
Trump expected to announce breaking news with Iran.
We'll be leaving very soon, and if France or some other country wants to get oil, they'll be able to fend for themselves. I think it'll be very safe, actually, but we have nothing to do with it.
Trump gathered us all today to give us an update on the war in Iran, but he seemed to have gotten a little bit distracted every now and then. He said he didn't recognize J.D. Vance because he's lost weight and now he sees a perfect specimen. He was looking for a heavyset guy. He said people are jealous of Erica Kirk for whatever reason. He turned to someone, I don't even know who that was, but he said, I love that guy. I love his show because he loves me. But nevertheless, according to Trump, Operation Epic Fury is on track to reach all of its objectives over the next 2 to 3 weeks. He is sticking to that timeline, so that means we can expect a lot of commotion over the next 2 to 3 weeks in Iran, and after that, it should all be magically over. And the economy will be back booming, and the gas prices will go way, way down, according to Trump. I guess we'll see.
Just finished listening to Donald talk. It sucked as usual, but it wasn't a long speech. It was survivable. He said something along the lines of, like you've never seen, excuse me, like you wouldn't believe it. He said something like that 11 times. He mentioned Israel specifically at least 3 times. He started out by talking about going to the fucking moon, doing around the world on the moon, and then coming back. And then he talked about Venezuela, and then he said, Iran, we're actually there to help. What we're doing is helping, and nobody's fucking helping us. We're just doing it all by our lonely, but it's because we're being nice. He said, October 7th, no one's ever seen anything like it. 9/11. We nuked Japan twice, back to back. He said, thank God that he got rid of our joint peace agreement that we had with Iran under Barack Hussein Obama. Because if he didn't get rid of that, Iran would have already exploded the entire Middle East off of the map, and Israel, specific, whole Middle East, and also Israel. He said, thank God we're in Venezuela. We have so much fucking oil and we're getting it also from our good homegirls in Venezuela, but we also have the #1 most oil reserves here in these United States. We never needed anybody for anything. The Strait of Hormuz, that doesn't even fucking have anything to do with us because we don't get anything from anybody. We don't get any oil from anybody. And the gas prices are high right now, but it's okay because it's for your grandkids. And the only reason that they're high right now is because Iran is being mean, which is why we're over there. And also our objectives are almost done, but we're going to continue bombing the shit out of Iran for the next 2 to 3 weeks, but we're in talks with them, but we are going to continue being merciless and slaughter, but we're talking to them about it. The Hormuz Strait, don't even worry about it. It'll open naturally. It'll just open up naturally. Direct quote. He went to see the families of all 13 dead military members from the United States who died in whatever the fuck this is. And what they all said to him is, please, sir, finish the job. They didn't say, my kid is dead. They said, go get him, Tiger. But we're almost done with our objectives, but none of the objectives have been laid out. But don't even worry about gas prices because it's for a good cause. And also, we have the most gas ever, so I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Gas prices, like, we never even needed anybody for anything. God bless America.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.